Hello, dear students. Today I will start the new chapter, that is Ashes That Made Trees Bloom, chapter 4. So I want everyone to take out that lesson and I will explain pages 55 to 59. And this story has been written by the great writer William Elliot Griffiths. So I request all of you to take out and look into page 55. Now the introduction of the poet. William Elliot Griffiths was an American Orientalist, congregational minister, lecturer, and prolific author. During the American Civil War, he served 2 months as a corporal in Company H of the 44th Pennsylvania Militia after Robert E. Lee invaded Pennsylvania in 1863. The Ashes That Made Trees Bloom. Introduction. The lesson is an adapted version of a Japanese story. It depicts that the bond between humans and animals can't be broken even after death. However, there are few people whose selfish interests blot their relation. The old man and his dog shared the warmth, integrity, association of lifetime, rather beyond life. The spirit of the dog gave solace and support to his loving and caring master. The king rewarded the old gentleman with laurels and presents. Now, before I start the explanation of the first part of the lesson, let us read out the meanings. Daimyos, wealthy landowners, snug, comfortable, a being with a soul, like a human child, turned up, dug up, on purpose, intentionally, gleamed, shone or glittered, coaxed, persuaded, enticed, dentist, tasty food, covetous, greedy, crone, old woman, flung, threw, carcass, dead body, mortar, bowl, pounding, crushing or grinding, stingy, miserly. So the explanation of the chapter, and that will be the first part of the explanation. So I want everyone to look into the book. So here is the explanation. In the 19th century in Japan, there lived an old couple. They had a pet dog. They loved it as if it were their baby. It was provided with a cushion and was fed lovingly by the couple. The old man was a rice farmer and was followed by his pet to the fields. Old man's kindness could be observed as he offered food to birds as well. One day, the dog has taken the man to a spot and began scratching the earth there. The man digs the earth and found a pile of gold. They became rich and bought a piece of land. They gave a feast to their friends and did charity to their poor friends. They cajoled their dog in a thankful manner. In contrast to the benevolent couple, there lived an insensitive couple. They tried to dissuade the dog by offerings and other dainties but failed to succeed in their motive. They used force to take the dog to a place where they could find some place to dig gold. The dog befooled them and began scratching at a place where a dead kitten was buried. Angrily, the old man killed the dog, and his wife nearly chopped off his head with a sharp hoe. Then they buried his carcass into the soil and made a heap of earth over it. The old couple regretted the severance with the dog and mourned his death. He set up bamboo tubes to demarcate his grave and laid a cup of water and food as they used to do to feed it. One day, when the old man was sleeping, the spirit of the dog appeared in his dreams and asked him to cut the pure tree near his grave. It wanted him to make a mortar for his rice pastry and a mill for bean sauce. The old man followed the wish of the dog. When New Year's time was around, he decided to make rice pastry. When the rice was boiled and it was poured into the mortar, the old man lifted the hammer to pound into the dough. To his surprise, it changed into a heap of gold coins. The same thing happened with the old woman. When she poured beans to the hand mill, gold started dripping like rain. The jealous neighbors were watching everything. So they came to borrow the mortar and the magic mill. But their pastry turned out to be a foul mass of worms. They were furious and cut the mill into pieces and used it for firewood. So, this is all about the first part of the story, children. I hope you all have understood. Now, the summary of the first part. In 19th century Japan, there lived an old couple. Their only companion was a little pet dog named Muko. They loved it as if it were their baby. They gave it pieces of fish and boiled rice to eat. Muko also loved his noble master. The old man was a rice farmer. He worked hard with his spade from dawn till dusk. Muko followed him every day to the field. It did not attack the white heron bird which used to kill cornworms. The farmer was kind to all the living creatures. One day the dog came running to his master. It motioned him some place behind. The farmer followed Muko to place where it began to scratch. The old man used his hoe to dig the earth. He found a lot of gold there. The gold The old couple became rich. They bought land, hosted a party to their friends, and gave generously to their poor neighbors. In the same village there lived a wicked old man and his wife. They were unkind to all dogs. When they heard of their neighbor's good luck, they called Muko to their garden and offered it fish. They hoped that Muko would find treasure for them also. But Muko refused to eat any fish. The dog took them to a pine tree in the garden. The greedy old fool danced with joy. They began to dig, but he found only a dead cat in the pit. In a fit of anger, he bit Muko. The owners of Muko mourned for their pet. They put flowers and water on its tomb. That night, the spirit of Muko appeared to the old farmer in a dream. It asked him to cut down the pine tree over its graves, make a mortar for rice pastry, and a mill for his bean sauce. Soon the old farmer made a hollow place in the tree trunk. He with his wife made a hammer of wood for pounding rice. They baked the pastry, and suddenly the whole mass changed into gold coins. The jealous old neighbor noticed bean sauce turning into gold. The old couple became rich even more. So the neighbors also did the same, but their pastry and sauce turned into worms. They destroyed the mill borrowed from the old couple and burnt it. So, this is all about the summary of the first part of the story. The second part will be continued in the next video. I hope all of you have understood the first part of the story. Thank you, children.